Good evening, dear devotees and friends. Today is the first Friday of the month. This is December. And as usual, the Vedanta Study Circle of Nepalville. Now, for them, we are studying the Bhagavad Gita. So, now we will study the 12th chapter. The 12th chapter, Dadash Adhyay, is called Bhakti Yoga. As usual, we will start with these mantras. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanina Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaita Amrita Varshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadeshinim. That gives the descriptions of the Bhagavad Gita in these 4 verses. This is the 18th chapter, Ashtadashadhyayini, and this is in the Mahabharata, embedded in the Mahabharata, composed by the Vyasa. And the main subject of the Bhagavad Gita is the Advaita Jnana, Advaita knowledge, the knowledge of the One. And when we get that knowledge, understand that knowledge, we can go beyond the circle of birth and death. Bhavadveshinim. Now then it says the 2 types of approaches. One, when some good people are approaching to the God, they are getting the blessings. Or with a bad approach, bad thought, and they are being crushed by the God. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Charnuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagat Gurum. The friends, we were studying in the 11th chapter, and the last verse of the 11th chapter, from first chapter, Arjuna's despondency. Arjuna was confused. Arjuna was under the spell of the Maya, because the insult that they got, the Panchapandava, so they wanted to take the revenge, and they were getting ready for so many years. Now when the time came and they were supposed to start the war, then Arjuna saw those faces who were standing before him, and he saw the friends, he saw the relatives, the brothers. Now he came under the sway of the Maya, and he started telling whom I am going to kill. He knew with whom he is going to fight. And boastfully he said to Krishna, can you please take my chariot in between the 2 erring the warriors? Then let me see who have come to be killed by me. So that the way he was thinking. Now suddenly when he saw that, then he started thinking, oh no, I should not. So that was any ordinary people that we get confused about that, what to do. And then he was going on giving the arguments, and the God was telling, okay. The God was quietly listening to him. Then when the Arjuna surrendered himself to the God, Shishyaste ham sadhimam tam prapannam, and then only the God started giving all the advices, encouraging him to perform the swadharma. It is from the 2nd chapter up to the 10th chapter. Lord expressed in the Bhagavad Gita that in reality it is only the one. Though you see so many and you are thinking that I am going to kill them, but actually all these things are all predestined. Everything has already been done. Then with the 11th chapter, suddenly he said, this is me. All that you see is within me. Now Arjuna is asking the 55th verse of the last verse of the 11th chapter, Mat karmakrit, mat paramo, mat bhakta, sanga varjita, nirvaira, sarva bhuteshu, ya sa mameti pandava. This is the 55th verse of the 11th chapter, the last chapter that we have studied. He who does my work, mat karma krit, and looks on me as the supreme goal, mat karma krit, mat paramo. I am the supreme goal, I am the ultimate. What is the karma of the Lord? That purification of the mind. When the jiva, whatever we do, if we do it dedicating to God, I am serving God with this thought, whatever we do, only one thought, I am serving God. And God must be happy with this. God is there, and God, I can serve God, and in that way, when he is thinking, his mind gets slowly purified. So, mat karmakrit, mat paramo, mat bhakta, sanga varjita. And as a goal is that Supreme Lord without attachment, sanga varjita. And whatever we are doing, and we are not expecting anything in return. The other day, the last means Wednesday, when we were studying the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna Panchama Veda, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said to his devotees, if you are taking the name of God, holy name of God, but without expecting the result, then you will surely realize God. The technique is this, that we have to perform, we should do, but without expecting the result. I have done so many japa and meditating, and so naturally God should reveal. There is no such rule in the God. So I am going on because this is my love. I love to take the name of God. Then sometimes the children, they will go on ma, ma, ma. Not that they understand what they are telling, but just love to call mother or papa, baba, like that. So that is the way they go on calling. The baba is very pleased, or the mother also, hearing that the child is calling her, she becomes very happy. Same way, if we are going on repeating the name of God, God is very happy. The Sri Ramakrishna told, then we discussed that. Here also, the devoted to me without attachment, sanga barjita nirvaira sarva bhuteshu. This is the another thing in the 55th verse of the 11th chapter. Nirvaira sarva bhuteshu. One who is practicing spirituality, those who have accepted the life of the monkhood or the life of the monks and dedicated life of God, they are not supposed to be enemy of anyone. They cannot. They should not. They are not supposed to. So that is the main thing. In the name of religion, if somebody else is cheating or doing something wrong, that is a completely different thing. There's a social problem and the society will handle that. But those who are showing, apparently at least showing that they love God, they're meditating on God, they are the people of God, they should not. The only one criteria that they are genuine, how to understand that? They cannot hate others or harm others. Nirvaira, Vaira means enmity. There should not be any enmity about the others. Ya mameti Pandava. Now about the Arjuna is telling. Now having that in mind, now Arjuna asking a question. O Lord, you said that you are unmanifested, abhyakta, and you are the supreme Brahman, and that is the goal of the human life. Now in the 11th chapter again, just now you reveal yourself that you are manifested in this form. So one is unmanifested, another is manifested form. Both are you. Now I want to know about this. So he is asking. So Arjuna uvacha evam satatayuktaye bhaktastam paryupasate echapyakshara abhyaktam tesham ke yoga vittamaha. Is the 12th chapter, the first verse. Evam satatu yuktaye bhaktastam paryupasate echapyaksharam abhyaktam tesham ke yoga vittama. The satatu yukta, ever steadfast, satatu yuktaye, those who are ever constantly associated with you, bhakta, the devotees, paryupasate, they worship means they meditate on you, and those, opi, again, abhyakta, the unmanifested, aksharam, imperishable, tesham, and yoga vittamaha, one, those who are worshipping you with qualities, with form, and those who are worshipping you, meditating on you without form, without qualities. So this, between these two, who is the best? So Arjuna wanted to know. So he says Swaguna Brahma and Nirguna Brahma. Vyakta means manifested, Abhyakta unmanifested. When it is Vyakta, when it is manifested, we know there is the Sattva, Raja and Tama, they change their positions. Then it is Vyakta, then the activity starts. So obviously when it is completely the tranquil, when there is no changes in the Sattva, Raja, Tama, these three qualities, and the God is unmanifested, because there is no activity, nothing is there. Completely, this particularly this subject we have discussed from different point of view, from the Dvaita, then the Advaita, and also Tantra. So this we always find in the Hinduism. They always say there is something which is having all qualities but unmanifested. That's called Parama Brahma in the Vedantic terminology. Parama Brahma, Supreme. Parama means Supreme Brahman. And the Supreme Brahman, it is having everything but not manifested. And another is the Saguna Brahma. It is having the manifested qualities. What are the qualities? Sattva, Raja and Tama. So these are the three qualities. And from the Tantra also same thing they will be showing us, the Paramashiva, Sadashiva and the Kali. Paramashiva, that supreme power, the supreme Shakti, the supreme knowledge and the power, they quietly lying down. No activity. Then slowly opening the eyes as if Ichcha, the desire has come. The Vedanta also is telling the same Supreme Brahman, it was there without any activity. Suddenly, as if a wave came and it says, I want to be many. Ekaham bahushyamavihi. And from there all creation, just thought, and the creation began. Tantra says Paramashiva completely dead, no desire. Then slowly, as if, just like the Vedanta, it's thought I like to manifest in many forms. So the Shiva opens the eyes, Sada Shiva, and his color is white, so Sattva Guna, manifesting. And from there Kali, and the Kali is creating, preserving, and also destroying. So these are the three aspects of the same thing. Vedantins say Brahman, and the Tantra says Shiva and Kali. So this is the way it goes again and again. Here the Arjuna is asking, Evam satata yuktaye bhaktastam pariyupasate. Now here those devotees who ever steadfast and worship thee, this is one type of people, and those who worship the imperishable, unmanifested, which of them are better in the yoga? Which are the best in that? So the Lord is giving the reply. Sri Bhagavan Uvacha Maya Veshya Mano Yemam Nitya Yukta Upasrate Shraddhaya Parayape Taste Me Yukta Tamamataha. Now Lord is telling over here, Mai Aveshya, Mai Aveshya, Maya Aveshya. Mai means on me, and this Aveshya, that fixing. He is fixing the mind on me, the God, the Lord. The friends, sometimes I feel it is so easy, as if there are only two. One is the Creator, the Supreme God. Another is His creation, this world. Now, if we want God, we have to give up this creation, the world. The world is also the manifestation of the same God, and from the God. The God has created this from God only. God is the creator and God is the material cause. So everything that we see is nothing but the same. But still, it is not God, because it is the God's creation, and the creation, as the Vedantin very nicely says, it is just like the magician's magic. It is not real. It cannot be real. Though there is the Dvaitin, they have their arguments, but it is not real, and from the Vedantic point of view. So, and if you are putting your mind into this, you are going to suffer. So something that I am going to hold, and I think it is going to be me and my thing is permanent, but it is not. You are also growing old and older, and the thing that you have holding, slowly it will also deteriorate, which will also destroy. So then the suffering comes. So that is the reason it says this much only. So Mai Aveshya Mano Yemam, not on my creation, but on me, the Creator. And who is this Creator? It is beyond the Sattarajatama. And the moment it is beyond the Sattarajatama, that means he is not having any ego, the I sense. As long as we are having the I sense, I get attached, bound to this body and mind. So when we go beyond that, how? That is the process. That is the spiritual disciplines. Every time, every moment we have to practice. We have to withdraw the mind from the objects and put it in the God. How? So there, this duality helps us a lot. That's what the Bhagavan is telling over here. The Sri Krishna is telling over here. Maya Veshya Mano Yemam Nitya Yukta Upasate. Those who are fixing their mind on me and worship me, ever steadfast. So it is not changing, not moving. Sometimes like this, sometimes like that. Not like. It should be straight way. We must get it. And friends, it is, of course, it is true that if we get some revelation, sometimes we are hearing the sound or having the beautiful and a very good fragrance, or we can see something celestials, we get encouraged. But that is not the goal. The goal is to merge with that original. And what is that original? No one can express, but only they are giving us the hints. And what are those hints? And they say that it is only, it will say that unchanging, completely unchanging, akshara, abhyakta, etc., etc., they will say. Here it says, Shraddha. Shraddha means the complete faith. Without the faith, just I am gazing that God is there and let me, not like that. Complete faith. God is there. And I can see God. I can talk to God, as Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna assured us. And he said, I promise and I say unto you, there is God, you can see God, you can talk to God. Why not believe? Why not have faith on that? That type of faith. Whether I can realize it or not, but I don't have any doubt on the statement of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna. There is God. I couldn't realize that. That means something lacking in me. I could not properly try, but this is the truth. Those who fix their mind on me, worship me, ever steadfast and endowed with supreme Shraddha, they in my opinion, are the best verse in the yoga. They are the best, he said. Now in the two consecutive verses, the third and the fourth verse, the Lord will say like this. The first is that supreme being, same supreme being, sometime manifested, sometime unmanifested. Now when it is manifested and is using its own power and manifesting, and after it is creating this universe, but it is not this universe. It is just created. Now if we say that the magician has created so many things, when he is showing the magic, so many things he is creating. But those created things are not magician. Magicians have created that, but they are not magicians. The same way the Lord has created this universe, but these beings are not God. So if we put our mind on that, oh, this is also God, so let me worship that. No. Of course the Hindus, they take an object, and through that object they try to reach to the Supreme, and the object helps them to concentrate. There are so many varieties. So obviously it becomes very difficult to concentrate, so we take then an object. The beautiful, the image of Lord Krishna is playing the flute, and there are so many stories. We listen to the story, we sing, we dance, and all our emotions are expressed, but one pointed to Krishna, Krishna, Krishna. And then we go on listening from the gurus, and who is this Krishna? Sarvata Panipadam Tat, Sarvata Kshishiro Mukham. He is everywhere, in every form. So I should not hate anyone. I should not insult anyone. I should not do or say something which will hurt anyone, because it is all my Krishna. So how the morality is going higher and higher, and then ultimately I see my God in everything. There is also oneness. So this is one path that Lord said it is easy and it is good according to me. Why? Because all people cannot. That he says. And here he is telling like this. Etvaksharam anirdeshyam abhyaktam paryupasati sarvatra gamachintancha kutastam achalam dhruvam samniyamendriya gramam sarvatra sarvatra samabuddhaya te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhuta hite rataha. He says like this, and third and fourth, sarvatra, everywhere, samabuddhaya, even minded. A Vedantin, the Vedantin approach, that is why Swami Vivekananda says Vedanta is the only religion, should be the only religion in the modern age. And if you notice that everywhere, every time, in every society, every country, so they are always trying to come to this. We are all equal, we are all same. Why should there be so many differences? Like this, the equalness. And this equalness can be manifested, can be properly understood if we think that we are all same because we are all the Atman. So it says that everywhere, samabuddhaya, even-minded, having subdued anirdesham, indefinable. Nirdesha, anirdesham. Nirdesha means I can define, I can point out, this is this. Nirdesha, there is guiding. But there is no, we cannot say this is that. That's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, you cannot say this is the end of it. No. Ishwarer iti kara jay na, in Bengali he said. Iti means this is the end of God. God is this form. God is only that form. God only eats this. God only does that. Nothing you can say like that. If the people are telling like that, they can say because that much understanding. But in reality, you cannot say. You can say that I like this. The God is like this, like the Krishna form of Sri Ramachandra or Ganesha or Durga, whatever form you like, and you say, to me this is sufficient. And there are so many other forms. Okay, God can have because it is all powerful. I am not going to criticize that. I am not going to deny that. And that is called Sarva Dharma Sammelan. Not that I have to change my views, not that I have to change my practices. I will continue in my practice. I will continue my religion. Only thing, I am also accepting the others. Their choices, their paths, their practices are also same. That much. And these only, as the Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna practiced and then propagated, that is unification, not that we have to become one. All will become Christians or Hindus, or not like that. There will be all varieties, but still it will be beautifully combined, like the 5 fingers of our hands. That varieties of fingers, one is very thin and small, another is big, but all these 5 fingers together is the hand, and then we can work. Similarly, all paths are leading to the same goal. But here, we are not thinking or studying that. We are only going to tell the God manifested, God unmanifested. Now the manifested God, God with form, with quality, if I worship, and those who are worshipping God without manifestation, who is the best? The better. That's why Bhagavan said, well, both are the same, but I think that if you are accepting God with form is better for you. Why? Those who are without form, they are telling, he says, third verse, Aksharam anirdeshyam abhyaktam parayupasate sarvatra gamachintancha kutastam achalam dhruvam samniyamendriya gramam sarvatra samabuddhayaha te prapnuvanti mameva sarvabhuta hite rataha. And he is telling this way that yes, those also who worship the imperishable, indefinable, unmanifested, omnipresent, unthinkable, unchangeable, immovable, eternal, having subdued all senses, even-minded everywhere, engaged in the welfare of all beings, verily they reach only myself. The first group, they are also reaching me, and the second group, but the second group whom they are worshipping, these, the way they are describing, because the Supreme Brahman without any quality cannot be described, the beyond time, space, causation. Only giving some suggestions. How? It gives like this. It says, unthinkable. You cannot think about it. It must be like this. It is vast. Then you think, oh, it is like the sky. Wrong. The sky has a limit too. So like that, in my thought, the sky has a limit. So I am limiting that sky. Like the ocean. In my thought, ocean has a limitation too. So that is omnipresent. It is present everywhere. Unthinkable, you cannot cognize, you cannot express through words. And unchangeable, it never changes. Immovable, kutastha, immovable, it never goes anywhere. That's why it says Dhruvam. Dhruvam means it never changes. It is eternal, Dhruvam. Having subdued all the senses. How they are thinking, how they are concentrating, how they are meditating on it? By subduing their senses. And what are the senses? This is the eye, the nose, the ear, the tongue, and the skin. Chakshu, Karna, Nashika, Jihva, Tak. So these five senses they are controlling. So the mind is completely the calm and composed, and no thoughts are there. No other waves are there. No other desires are there. In that condition, only they are thinking about the one who is everywhere, who is unchangeable, who I cannot express, but it is there. So that is why it says, Upasana means approaching the object of worship by meditating on it. That's why the Lord has used the word Upasana, Upasate, like that. So they are also coming and reaching to me. Now this me is not only Krishna form, it is the Supreme Consciousness. Though Lord Krishna is expressing and telling Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Bhaja, this Mam Eka, sometimes some people they make the mistake, they are thinking only that form of the Lord which came in the form of a Krishna and playing the flute or fighting in the Mahabharata, the Kurukshetra. That is not. Only one part of the Lord. And that Supreme Being, the All-Powerful, is only taking the small form for that particular period of time. So that we have to understand. It is not that particular form, but the ideology. What is that ideology? God is everywhere. So this ideology, if we can understand, they are meditating on that. Omnipresent, unthinkable, unchangeable, immovable, eternal. So that on that we are putting our mind. So obviously in the next verse 5th, it says, Kleshadhika tarastesham abhyaktasaktachetasam abhyaktahi gatiri dukkham dehabadbhirabhapyate. This is very important. So there are two paths. One, we can approach God with a manifested form. Same God, the Supreme God, everywhere, all pervading, all powerful. But we are taking the chances, because God manifested Himself in different forms. So we choose a form, concentrate our mind on that, withdraw all our senses from the sense objects, everything, same discipline. Those who are practicing in the Advaita Vedanta and the Dvaita Vedanta, what do? Same discipline, same type of practices. Only one group of people, they take an object to concentrate, to help them to concentrate. Another group doesn't. They are advanced, that's good. But when you are closing the eyes, whom do you think? That's why Lord said, Klesha adhikataraste sham. Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said, if you are a householder, do not practice Advaita Vedanta. You can study Advaita Vedanta. Study, because all the Pandits, all the scholars, they are all the time debating on this Vedanta. They are studying it. This is a philosophy. Nothing wrong in it. But practicing, because you should be genuine when you are practicing. And when you say that I am not this body, I am not this mind, and then again you are doing some work and trying to get some money and to paying back your debt, no, that cannot be. That is why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said that there should not be any hypocrisy. There should not be any hypocrisy. When you are practicing in the genuine form. I can walk up to the 3 steps, I will walk up to 3 steps. Those who are running, let them do. Right this moment, I am not ready, I am not prepared, this much I will do. So that is the way the practice is, Dvaita and Advaita. Dvaita, the same goal. Advaita, same, there they will reach. Dvaita, they take the help of the manifested God, manifested Supreme Being. Advaita, they don't accept that, they continue. So that is an advanced stage. Following the Dvaita, maybe some time that stage will come, but the same goal is the same. And here the Lord Supreme, He is telling that it is really very difficult path. Klesha adhikatarastesham abhyakta asakta chetasam. Abhyakta asaktya chetasam, whose mind is set on the unmanifested. Very few can practice it. Very few. That's why Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna said only Narayan can do. Narayan was having that status. It is very difficult. Majority of the people, they show, but how far it is true, no one knows. So you should not have any ego at all. No attachment to anything. Forget about other things. No attachment to your own body also. So that is very difficult. Klesha adhikatarastesham abhyakta asakta chetasam. Abhyakta asakta chetasam. Chetasam means minds. Asakta associated. Abhyakta unmanifested. So whose mind is set on the unmanifested, adhikastara klesha, is a greater trouble. Very great trouble. Deha badbhi, for the embodied, abhyakta, the unmanifested, the goal, dukkha, with hard toil abhapyate. They reach there with great struggle. The greater is their trouble, whose minds are set on the unmanifested. For the goal of the unmanifested is very hard for the embodied to reach. I am having the body. The one person is to come to Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna and he used to say, I am Ka. Ka means the sky. That means I don't have the body, I don't have the mind, I am all pervading consciousness. So he was very fond of saying, I am the Ka. Then he was having some loan. Then naturally he could not pay back. They went to the court, and the court saying the order, you have to sell your all properties to pay back your loan. So the people came, the legal people, officers, they came, they were taking out all his things that was there in his house. So he was sitting and crying and came to Sri Ramakrishna. He visited. Then Sri Ramakrishna told, but you are Ka. You are the sky. You don't have any attachment to anything. Now why you are feeling sad? because some of the things have gone. No. That is why Sri Ramakrishna said that there should not be any hypocrisy. When truly you know that you are not the body, you are not the mind, you have overcome all those hurdles, very good. Hats off to those characters, those people, those who can truly do it. And how we will know that they can? They will never find any difference between anything. For them, everyone is the same. Abhyakta asakta chetasam, and it says that the goal of the Anma is very hard. No comparison between the worshippers of the conditioned and the unconditioned Brahman is meant here. That is, the Shankaracharya also is mentioning, and those who are exponent of this, one should not think, oh, there is a one path, that path of devotion, path with the object, so that is a different path, and path without any object different. No comparison like that. Since by the context both reach the same goal. The path of the conditioned Brahman is easier. Conditioned Brahman, that means manifested Brahman, Swaguna Brahma. Now when we look at the picture of Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna, Ma Sharadamani Devi, and we can talk to them, we can pray to them, Lord, this is the happened in that whole day, and I was thinking that things will be like this, and it is not like that. You have someone to share your thoughts, someone to talk to. So what's wrong over there? Now you go and stand before a mirror and say the same thing, oh Ishatmananda, this is the thing, and the same thing is happening. Then when you are talking to yourself standing before a mirror as if there is no one, and that is very difficult. Of course valid path, of course very highly appreciated path, but difficult, that is the thing. The Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna also said it's really very difficult, and he is, as because Sri Ramakrishna is very genuine, he said, don't think that you are going to miss something if you are not practicing Advaita, because you will reach the same goal, the same God, and by that way it will be easy for you. So you can pray, you can cry, you can fight with your God, and you can express all your emotions that they are there, your anger, your passion, your love, your hatred, everything on God. I'm not going to talk to God, one lady told. I'm not going to worship God anymore because this thing has happened. Why God should do like this? And afterwards she became all right again, once again. So this is all the emotions that we are having. It should go towards the God, and so easy. And other paths, so here it says it is not a comparison, but the path of the conditioned Brahma is easier, and the path of the unconditioned Brahman is harder, because of the necessity of the having to abandon all attachment of the body from the very beginning of the practice. This is what the Lord said. Arjuna was asking, Lord said, both paths are leading to the same goal, but one is comparatively easier. Comparatively easier. It's not so easy to go beyond the Maya, because the Lord has created all these objects, and now He is hiding the original thing, the original those things. And how He is hiding? With the cover of the Maya. So Maya's capacity, it always hides the original thing and superimpose something which you want to see, which you want to hear, like that. So this is Maya. It is so difficult to go away from that. All the time something or other will happen and it will drag your mind over there. Very difficult. And sometimes we feel, all those people are suffering, I should go and do that. And we forget that, can I truly help them? No. Can I truly remove all the miseries from the world and make this world completely happy? Go through the pages of the history of 10,000 years of human civilization. Either here people are suffering, another this place people are enjoying, and it is shifting all the time. It is going on like this. There will be suffering, there will be enjoyment, there will be this, there will be that. Whatever we see is only changing the positions and nothing else. And what we are trying to do, understanding this and utilizing all our emotions and the power, our capacity, our intellect to serve this, to do something good to people, and that I'm not doing good to the people, I'm serving God. That attitude is, you are doing the work but not getting attached to that work. So that is the only secret to become free from the clutches of Maya. So Lord will be telling this. So these are the two paths Arjuna was asking. Yes, both paths are there and both are reaching to me, the Supreme Being, but one is little easier comparatively the other, and the other is harder. That's all it goes. A2, it says in the third and fifth verse, and it says in the sixth, Etu sarvani karmani moi samnasya matpara ananye naiva yogena mam dhayanta upasati teshamaham samudhatta mrittu samsara sagarat bhavamina chirat partha maya beshita chetasam. Sixth and the seventh verse, it says, but those who worship me and resigning all action in me, they are worshipping me and giving all the action, everything I am offering to the God. So that is the secret. We cannot simply sit without doing any work. No. And work is not only physical. Mental work is also there. We are going on thinking so many things. That is also work. And by saying something, bachika, and when you speak, when you say something, sometimes you mix up something and then it is not true. I am not going to do that. And most of the politicians, they do this mistake. They will go and tell that we are giving you the assurance to the people, I am going to do this, I am going to do that. They are not genuine. They know they won't be able to do. But they say that, and by that way they commit mistakes. Again and again they will come to this, and they will be in the circle of birth and death. That's why it says, Etu sarvani karmani moi samnasya matparaha, and they regard me as the supreme goal. Ananye naiva yogena mam dhayanta upasati, meditating on me with the single-minded yoga. To these whose mind is set on me, verily I become the ever long, this Osana Prita, the savior out of the ocean of the mortal samsara. I save them from this samsara. What is this samsara? That which is changing. And what is the problem if things are changing? The problem is we accept that as permanent. It is changing. And if we know that it is changing, no problem. The problem comes when we think that this is permanent, and then we try to grab it. What is the difference between a samsari and sannyasi? The samsaris, it is not grihis, samsaris is a type of people. They like to grab everything. They like to grab everything, not only the wealth, the name, fame, physical comfort, whatever they see, immediately they like to grab it. That is a samsari, and the sannyasi, they like to give up. Samyak Nyasa, they like to give up. I don't want anything. So that is the complete difference. Complete difference. Sannyasi, that Swami Vivekananda said, Ramakrishna Mission Sannyasin should not have any association with the politics. Why? Because politics means grabbing. It's the power that we like to grab. The people who like to rule, who like to do this and that, they are going into politics. It's the power craving. Otherwise what? You can do all social service. You like to help people. Why not form a social group and then serve them? No. They like to do it because they like the power. Then they will have the bodyguards, they will have the police escorts, they will have this facility, that facility, and they are very happy. And sannyasi should not do that. If a sannyasi is doing that, that means he is no more a sannyasi. He has broken his vows. So that we should understand. Swami Vivekananda, he was a lover of India. But he said, the sannyasins of the Ramakrishna Mission, you should not have any association with the politics. That is for different type of people. They should do. What is our sannyasins' responsibility? Dharma palan, dharma shiksha. You must practice all spirituality, and then you should teach that to the people. And when different situations are there, accordingly you should do that. The services, sometimes some places the calm and quiet, you only meditate. Meditation is the great spirituality. You are withdrawing your mind and concentrating and meditating and sending out the strong thought to everywhere. Whoever is there suffering, please, oh Lord, remove them from that. Then no one should suffer. Sarvas taratu durgani, sarvu bhadrani pashyatu, sarvasad buddhimapnotu, sarva sarvatra nandatu. That is the prayer of the sannyasi. Let everyone be happy, free from all misery. Oh Lord, I cannot do anything else, but I have complete faith on your power. I know you are the supreme power. Please remove the miseries from this world. That is the sannyasi. When possible, he goes out and gives them some education, moral education, and also technical education if possible. Swamiji introduced, Swami Vivekananda. Go and teach them. And slowly, that's why, and then also when they are not having anything, go and help them give them medicines also. So that way, the all type of helps also we are going to give, but we do not know whom I am giving. I am not noticing the person I am giving. Is he this caste or that caste, or this religion, this linguistic group, that linguistic group, this political, that political, nothing at all. A human being suffering, or the beings are suffering, we go and help them, and we actually help them. The God, the suffering God who came to me to take my service so that he can bless me. That's all. So that is the approach of the sannyasis, but not of the grihis. The grihis, they have their different the dharmas. They have the responsibility to look after their families. They can join the politics, they can do this, that, all social things. So they're completely two different. That is another thing. Now when we come for the spiritual practices, two ways. One, that same Brahman with qualities, a Brahman without qualities, my choice. And if I find that without qualities I should proceed, first thing, I am not going to hide anything. There is no hiding anything. If I truly can feel that I am free from this body and the ego, I will try. That is the practice. No problem. But no hypocrisy. And otherwise I will go and pray to God and cook for God, and I will make the girl for God, I will dance for God and sing for God, the same God. That these are the two is going. And here it says from the 6th and 7th, those who worship me, resigning all actions in me, regarding me as the supreme goal, meditating on me with a single-minded yoga, to these whose mind is set on me, verily I become their friend and take them beyond the samsara sagara. So that is the 6th and the 7th verse. It says, Teshamaham samardhatta mrittu samsara sagarat. It is not janma mrittu, it is mrittu samsara sagarat. What is this mrittu? Because mrittu means the end? No, another beginning. If you have the desire, then you are continuing with that. And that is why again and again we are taking the birth and then we are dying. That is why it says mrittu samsara. Why the Lord used the word mrittu? Janma mrittu, but mrittu means is a fearful. It is troublesome. It is all the time we are suffering. People, the greatest fear is the death. So mrittu samsara, samsara sagarat. This is the samsara. This is full of death and misery and suffering, and it is like an ocean, unending ocean. When I was going from Calcutta to Andaman in the ship, in the beginning it was very good, and then afterwards the 3 days on the water, 4th day on the water, 5th day, it was so terrible. When we can see the land, that's why they always give the example of the ocean. You cannot see anything. You cannot see anything. Sometimes the flying fishes are jumping out. That is the only variety, and nothing else there. So this is the reason it says mrittu samsara sagarat. I will read this 8th verse, and then we will explain that in our next class. Mayeva mano adhasya mayi buddhim niveshaya nibashishyasi ma eva atha urdam na samshayaha. Fix thy mind on me only. Place thy intellect in me. Also shalt thou doubt live in me hereafter. Then no doubt. And you will be living in me. That means there will be no ego. We are going back to the source. What is the ultimate goal of every human life? God realization. What is that God? The source. And when we go back to the source, what happens? We become that source. And what is that source? Somehow they have expressed, those who have realized, because it is subjective experience, no one can express about it, but Ananda Sagare Bhashe, they say, is as if you are swimming in the ocean of bliss. So what is the goal of human life? Joy, happiness, bliss. And that is possible, eternally possible, when you go back to our source, and the source is God. Thank you, friends, up to this today.
Well, there is one question. It's from a user by the name of Go KTM. He's asking, when Sri Krishna is saying goal is the same for both paths, does that also mean the experience of the seekers in the two paths at the end is also the same, or each of them will have their own experience?
Each of them will have their own experience, because those who are having chosen the path we can say the devotion, the bhakti, and the God with form, and whatever the form they like to see, God reveal before them in that. But at the same time, Bhagavan Sri Ramakrishna is telling, even those devotees, if they say, Lord, I like to realize the Brahman, the Atman, the Self. That is also possible. So we can say the one is going depending on God, holding the hand of God and walking with the God and then praying to God. I like to see you without form. Can you please give me that experience? The Lord can give. So that is both of the path, both the travelers are reaching to the same goal. Thank you. Let us say Shanti 3 times and I conclude. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat. Friends, the one announcement, usually the January and February we are closed over here because of the winter. But this is a very special condition situation now. So we will be here. We are not going anywhere. I will be here. Though our all the classes that I give in the Vedanta Society, that is the Sunday discourse and the Wednesday Panchama Veda, the Gospel, that won't be there for January and February. But this type of special classes that I am providing because of this Vedanta Studies Circle Nepalville and like it will continue. So in the January and February also, January and February, both the months, we will have the Gita classes. Thank you.